You excited to be back in Key West?
Welcome aboard the Big Cat Express, the 155-foot high-speed catamaran, which, along with the Key West Express behind me, transports hundreds of passengers to and from Key West each day.
In just minutes, this catamaran is going to be sailing out of Fort Myers Beach on a 3.5-hour journey to the Florida Keys. And while this may not be the cheapest or the fastest way of getting to Key West, with lots of comfortable seating, plenty of room to move around, and a fully stocked bar, I have a feeling it will be the most enjoyable way.
In this video, we're going to be taking you along with us on our very first ferry ride to Key West. And along the way, we'll be sharing the full experience. But since the end of this journey is just the beginning of a Florida Keys adventure, once we get there, we're going to show you what you can get up to once you're docked. But for now, let's go check out more of the Big Cat Express. So when we booked these tickets, we thought we were going to be on the Key West Express because that is typically the ferry that runs from Fort Myers Beach to Key West. The one we're on today is the Big Cat, and that typically runs out of Marco Island, but that is a seasonal route. But we heard that there's only 110 passengers on board today, so that's why we're on the Big Cat, because it's a little bit smaller and more fuel efficient.
So the first few minutes of this boat ride started off real relaxing. We were really enjoying floating through the pass. We went by a bunch of shrimp boats. We went under the bridge that connects Fort Myers Beach to Fort Myers. And we spotted a few places that we visited in our Fort Myers Beach episodes, such as Dock Fords and Snug Harbor. But once we made that turn and got out into the Gulf, we quickly realized why they call this a high-speed catamaran, because we got moving real fast, real quickly. We even did spot some dolphins jumping in the wake of the boat, but unfortunately we weren't quick enough to catch them on camera.
Now, booking this ferry in August during hurricane season like we did can be a little bit risky, and that's probably why there's not too many people on the ferry today. But we got really lucky with the weather. The captain said that the wind is supposed to be pretty low, and they expect only 2 to 3 foot waves. It's been fairly smooth so far. It's rocking a little bit, but not bad.
Now, those of you who have seen any of our fishing trips on this channel probably know that I tend to be the one who gets seasick, so I am especially happy that the seas are extra calm today. Now, while the Big Cat is the smaller of the two boats, it does have 3 decks like the Key West Express. We're currently on deck 2, which does have quite a bit of interior seating space that is air conditioned. It also has some outdoor seating space as well. If you go 1 deck up to deck 3, you'll find a bunch of standing room only space outside. And if you go 1 deck down to deck 1, that's where you'll find the majority of the air conditioned interior seating space. And it's also where you'll find the bar and galley. Now, speaking of the bar, I think that's the only area where I'm a little bit disappointed that we're sailing on the Big Cat instead of the Key West Express, because looking at the pictures of the Key West Express online, it looks like they have a legitimate bar that you can actually sit at, whereas the bar here on the Big Cat, you pretty much just walk up to a counter, order your drinks, and then bring them back to your seat or one of the tables. So if you're hoping to be belly up to the bar your entire trip to Key West, you're gonna wanna hope that you sail on the Key West Express.
Now, my least favorite thing about this ferry so far has to be how early we had to get up to get here. Boarding starts at 7. They do recommend you get here at 7. You have to be on board by 7:30, and they leave at 8. Now, if you're from the Tampa Bay area like we are and have to drive here, that would be a very early morning. Now, we ended up staying in a hotel in Fort Myers, but we still had to be up by 5:30 this morning. Although I probably won't mind it once we are in Key West by noon later today. If we were taking the ferry during a busier time, we probably would have shown up even a little bit earlier to be one of the first on board to make sure to get a good spot, because there are definitely areas of this ferry that are better than others.
Now, we are loving our area here on the second deck. We sat on the right side of the ship by the windows facing west, so we are away from the bright sun, but we're still in the air conditioning. If we do want to go outside and get some fresh air, we have easy access to that here. And also, it's much quieter than down on deck 1 because we're further away from the engines. So we had to pop down to deck 1 real quick because they're doing a raffle down there. You can buy some tickets for $1, and they're giving away some pretty cool Key West Express merchandise. And since the raffle is located right next to the bar, I decided I'd better get a drink as well. This is their rum punch. It has real juice in it. It has, I think, 3 different types of rum. It was less than $10, and they mixed it pretty stiff, so I would recommend this drink. Now, one other area where this ferry is a little bit lacking is when it comes to technology. If you do want to be able to charge any of your devices, you're going to have to bring your own portable charger because most of the seating areas don't have any outlets or charging ports nearby. They do have a few flat screen TVs on the ferry, which supposedly are connected to satellite signal, but there is no volume on the TVs, and weirdly, they all seem to be tuned to the Magnolia network. So if you want to watch a movie or a TV show, we'd highly recommend you plan on doing it on your own device. And we'd also suggest that you download it ahead of time because there is no Wi-Fi on this ferry. Now, we did have pretty good cell reception for the first hour or so when we were skimming along the coast of Florida, but once we hit Marco Island and really got out to sea, we lost our reception pretty quickly.
We did take advantage of our cell reception over the first hour to do a little bit of last-minute Key West planning by hopping on Plannin, the sponsor of today's video. Plannin is a global travel booking platform where you can book hotels, experiences, and cruises. And if you follow us on the platform, you can even see our travel recommendations and travel itineraries. We already have a 3-day Key West itinerary from our last trip that you can check out, and our itinerary from this trip will be available soon. And hopefully it's going to include the excursion that we just booked on Plannin, as long as the weather cooperates tomorrow. So be sure to stick around to the end of this video to see the exciting excursion that we have been wanting to do in Key West for a while now.
Now, I do got to mention that we also used Plannin to find a really good deal on our Fort Myers hotel last night. Now, it wasn't anything fancy, but it was pretty modern. It was clean. It had a really good breakfast. And honestly, it was everything you could ask for from a budget-friendly hotel. Now, if you're looking to book your own activities and lodging in Key West or pretty much anywhere else in the world, then go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the video description to sign up for your free Plannin account. There you can see our itineraries and travel recommendations and start saving up to 40% on hotels.
So we can tell we're getting closer to the Keys because the water just keeps getting prettier and prettier. Now, before we dock though, there are a few more things we want to talk about this ferry, including the luggage that you're allowed. Each person can bring up to 2 carry-on sized luggages. Anything bigger than that, you will have to pay an additional fee. Now, this ferry does not transport electric scooters or electric bikes, but if you do want to bring a normal bike, that's going to cost you $90 round trip. So we decided to leave our scooters and bikes at home for this trip. Now, before Skylar talks about the price, there's one more thing I want to mention. The lower level is accessible by a ramp, but if you want to get to decks 2 and 3, you do have to climb stairs. So keep that in mind if you do have limited mobility.
Now, sailing on this ferry definitely ain't cheap. Round trip tickets will generally cost $185 for adults, with discounted rates available for seniors and kids. And if you avoid sailing on the weekends, you can save a little bit of money off those ticket prices. Now, if you're really looking to save some money, as of when we're filming this in early August, the ferry is actually offering travel vouchers on their website that you can redeem for deeply discounted tickets, but you do have to sail in either 2026 or 2027. Now, we do also have to mention that if you are taking the ferry out of Fort Myers Beach, then you will have to pay an additional $18 a day for parking.
All right, the first winning ticket is going to be 552. 115. 552 115.
Now, when it comes to getting to Key West, you're generally going to have 2 other options other than taking the ferry, and that's either to fly or to drive. Now, driving for most people is going to be the most time-consuming, but it's also going to be the cheapest. Flying is generally going to be the quickest option, and oftentimes will also be less expensive than taking the ferry. But a few clear benefits of taking the ferry is that you're going to have a lot more room to move around. You can either sit inside in the air conditioning or outside in the fresh air, and you also have these gorgeous ocean views.
We arrived here in the Key West terminal right around noon. Now, if you do have luggage and you don't want to bring it with you while you wait for your hotel to be ready, then they do have a porter service here, and they will actually bring your luggage to your hotel later in the day. There are also places downtown where you can pay a fee to store your luggage, but the place we're staying does allow us to drop our luggage off early, so we're going to do that, and then we'll show you some of the things you can do in this area. There's a place right next to the ferry terminal that has a pool bar, and Skylar, I think, really wants to go to that, but we gotta get rid of this luggage. If you do want to rent a golf cart while you're here, There's actually a rental place right in the terminal, and they partner with the ferry and they give you a bit of a discount. But we are planning on walking because everywhere we want to go is right around the terminal or where we're staying. Skylar's navigating us. I think it's about 5 blocks from the terminal, so not too far. All right, 2 more blocks. Feels like a lot longer in this heat though. We just dropped off our luggage. We're feeling a little bit lighter and now we need some lunch. So we're heading to a spot right on the water.
Our lunch spot here in Key West is at Loggerheads, which we definitely chose more for its location and atmosphere than its food because we had a huge breakfast at our hotel and just aren't that hungry. But it's really hot in Key West today, so we really want to be somewhere close to the water, and Loggerheads definitely checks that box because it's located right on a beach and you can actually go get in the water while you're waiting for your food. Our food's ready already. That was quick.
Skylar was just about to get in the water, then our buzzer went off. That was really fast, so I guess we're gonna have to eat our lunch and then get in the water. All right, here's what we got. This is a Cuban sandwich, and this is a turkey bacon wrap, I think. Ooh, that looks good. I didn't even know that we got cookies and potato chips. We finished our meal and got right in the water, and surprisingly, it's cooler than we expected it to be. It is very refreshing.
No, well, we definitely did not come here primarily for the food. It was actually better than we thought it was going to be because the quality was decent and the prices were actually great. The Cuban that we got was only $10 and that wrap was only $8.50, and we actually preferred the wrap over the Cuban. The bread on the Cuban was really good, but the meat was a little bit dry. But overall, I'm not complaining, especially for a place right on the beach here in Key West.
If you are considering coming to Loggerheads, you will want to keep in mind that they have no indoor seating. There is outdoor seating. Some of it has shade, some of it does not. So if you're here in the summertime, make sure you wear your suit so you can cool down in the water.
Now, we are so glad we decided to visit Loggerheads for lunch because that water felt so refreshing. Now, if you're finding this video to be refreshing or amazing or maybe just slightly above average, be sure to hit that thumbs up button because every like helps this video reach a wider audience and helps us to keep making videos like this one.
We are done at the beach and our next spot is only a couple blocks away, and I know that Skylar is pretty excited for it. We spotted our first rooster.
He's a loud one.
He is a loud one.
We just finished up our tour at Key West First Legal Rum, and that is my type of tour. It was free, it was only 20 minutes long, it's to the point, they pack in a lot of interesting information, and you get to try some of their rum. It's really cool to learn about the methods they use to produce, flavor, and remove the toxins from the rum. And it's also really neat to know that everything they do is done in that building, from production to bottling and even labeling. Now, after the tour, I did get one of their mojitos. It's supposed to be a super traditional Cuban mojito. They say that the owner got their recipe while he was actually visiting Cuba. Now, I also got to sample a few different types of rum. I tried the vanilla bean, the key lime, and the coffee flavors. I think my favorite was probably the coffee one because just drinking that straight tasted like an amazing espresso martini. Now, during that tour, I did get a text message saying that the room in our hotel is ready, so we're gonna head back there, check in, change out of our swimsuits, and then we're gonna explore some more of Key West. So we got back to our hotel right around 3 p.m., which just so happens to be when they do their sangria hour. From 3 to 4 each day, you can get complimentary sangria, which is where I got this. We'll show you more of the sangria experience, as well as everything else this hotel has to offer, including a full room tour in next week's episode. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and have the notifications turned on.
After changing out of our suits and cooling down a bit at our hotel, I decided that I needed a good coffee because I was starting to wear down, and while our breakfast this morning was good, the coffee at the hotel was not. So we are here at Cuban Coffee Queen, and we were so happy to find that they were still open. This place is highly rated and we love Cuban coffee, so it's no surprise that we enjoy this. It's robust, we added a little bit of sweetness to it, and it's exactly what we need right now. Now that coffee went down way too fast. There's one more thing we wanted to share with you all. We love that they use coffee ice cubes in their iced cafe con leche because as they melt, it does not get watered down. Just outside of the air-conditioned shops, you have a ton of things to do. We hear ya! We hear ya! There's Florida's oldest aquarium. There's a shipwreck museum where you can go up a tower and get a really good view of Key West. You also have the sponge shops, and there's also a stop for the Old Town Trolley.
Now we are here during the middle of the week, during off season, so this place is actually pretty dead. But if we would have been here a few hours ago, I think it would have been packed because the cruise ship would have still been in port, and the cruise terminal is just a couple blocks from here.
In this area, you'll also find the Shell warehouse as well as a bunch of vendors. So if you're looking for some Key West souvenirs, this area has you covered.
Now, when we're out filming these videos, we are constantly having to deal with sound challenges, whether it be road noise, people blasting their music, or wind noise. But Key West is the only place where we're constantly being interrupted by roosters.
These are our first baby chicks that we've seen here in Key West. Oh, they're so cute. They're so small. There's a whole bunch of them coming behind you. If somehow you're in Key West and you're not finding the roosters, come to this area, the Waterfront Playhouse. They are everywhere here. Didn't realize this little chick was coming up to me. Skylar, we're gonna have too much chicken footage.
It's always the case.
We always end up with a lot of chicken and rooster footage.
Now, right along the water here in Mallory Square, they do have a sunset celebration in the evenings. We've heard that they have vendors and street performers, and we'd love to check it out sometime, but I don't think it's gonna happen for us tonight because we have a sunset dinner spot to take you to.
Our dinner spot tonight is here at the Sunset Pier, and normally we would be sitting out on that pier over the water, but because the sun is getting close to setting, those umbrellas do not provide any shade. So we decided to sit a little bit further back where there is more cover from the sun. Now right now there are a ton of tables open on that pier, but I can imagine that in the cooler months, you probably have to get here well before sunset to get a table out there. Now there is a band setting up right now and they should be starting soon.
Now, one reason I really wanted to come here is because they have a Cuban dish called ropa vieja on the menu, and apparently it's really good because it's so popular it was sold out. But actually it's probably okay because I don't think either of us were that hungry. Plus, I know I want to save room for some good beers later and some dessert. We ended up just sharing an order of grouper ceviche, and it was really fresh tasting and it was quite good. We really enjoyed it, but we're definitely going to come back for that ropa vieja. So we were on our way to our dessert spot, but we had to stop to show you this tree. This has to be the coolest looking tree I have ever seen.
It's a banyan tree, right?
Pretty sure. The majority of the roots are all over there, but as you can see, there's a bunch more way over there.
We've made it to our last stop for tonight, which is Moondog. Now, we have been here once before for coffee, and it was really good, but tonight we are here for beer and pie. Skylar got a Hop Gun IPA, and I got a slice of their key lime pie, but I'm sure we're gonna be sharing it. Now that's some good meringue. So the filling is really smooth and tart, and the meringue is sweet, so it balances out really well.
Now this key lime pie looks a lot like the key lime pie we had at Blue Heaven last time we were in Key West about a month or so back, but it actually tastes completely different. That meringue was almost angel food cake-like in texture, while this one is a little more like an airy whipped cream. Both of them are very unique, but very good in their own ways. So we had another great experience at Moondog. The bartender tried to get me to get another beer. He even gave me a free sample. And honestly, he had me convinced, but Jamie said it's probably time to go home, which honestly is a good idea, I think, since we've been up since 5:30 this morning and have another big day planned for tomorrow. So as much as I would love to stay out a little bit longer and enjoy some more of this Key West nightlife, we are heading back to the hotel and we'll see you in the morning.
Good morning. Today we got up, had breakfast at the hotel, and walked down to the cruise port because that's where we meet for our excursion that we booked. Now we are going to be going parasailing. We have tried to do this in Key West before, but the last time we had an afternoon time and it got canceled due to weather. So this time around we booked the very first slot, and we have checked the weather this morning and there are no chances of rain until 11, so we should be good.
You excited?
Excited but a little nervous too. Oh my gosh, our first dip. They dipped our legs in. So when you get up here, it's actually very peaceful.
Oh, it's so peaceful. It feels so good, especially now that they got us a little bit wet.
Yeah.
Cools us off a little bit. Nice breeze up here.
This is incredible.
Yeah. So one benefit I think about going a little later in the day, I think the water would be a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
But this is still pretty awesome. It's very pretty up here.
This view is incredible. This is so awesome.
Well, Jamie, are you scared?
Not anymore. This is really peaceful.
Yeah, it's like the least scary thing in the world, right?
Well, I wouldn't say least scary thing in the world. We're going down for another dip. Woo!
Nope, not going down. Hey, come on!
They're shaking the rope down below, trying to make us more nervous, I think. They're showing us a good time.
Yeah.
We did go first trip of the day. You have to get up a little bit earlier, but it's also a little bit cheaper. This was definitely worth the price. Even though you're only up there for a few minutes, it feels like a lot longer. We got to swing it a little bit on the way in.
Yep.
Hold up, hold up. Woo! That was totally worth it.
It's so awesome to finally be able to see Key West from the sky. And now that we've taken the ferry here and driven here, I think the only logical next step is to fly into Key West. And I'm sure we will get around to doing that on this channel sooner or later. And if you want to make sure you don't miss it, be sure you're subscribed to our channel. Now, if you want to continue along with us on this Key West adventure, all you got to do is click here right now. Thanks for watching.